Hey all. I'd like to be a little more official for this one, and I'd like to address the United Nations and the press corps United States, or the press dinner to which President Trump refused to attend. And I'd like to take this opportunity to comment on United Nations current policy and United Nations current policy with regard to the state of Israel. Now, I'm an alternative healer. I'm one of those little freaky people who believe that the planet is full of aliens and that, all kinds of weird conspiracies are true. I'm one of those really weird people, and I don't mean by weird conspiracies that the 9/11 was an inside job. I mean by weird conspiracies that there are aliens who live on the underground world and actually occasionally spy on us and have trade treaties with us. I'm one of those kinds of freaks. So from my religious point of view, you have to understand that the monotheistic books that arrive from the Abrahamic religions are incredibly violent. All of them are base, vile creatures, those religions, and they are things that, in my view, should be completely exterminated from the planet. But my view is more strongly secular in that I actually respect others' right to believe what they want to believe. But that being said, were it only my choice, which I never hope it is, I would never associate with any of those religions. I would live with somebody else. Now, of all the world religions, the calmest one that they say is the calmest one is Buddhism. And I don't like that one. It has convinced people that it hasn't had wars. It has had many wars. That Buddhists don't have holy warriors. They do. There are Buddhist sects and accepted Buddhist teachings who believe that you should kill your enemies. Those exist. Those are real. You can't sidestep those. So from my point of view of being something like 0.1% or 1/10 of 1%, the rest of you are very dangerous wild animals that I want to keep away from at all cost. Now that I've prefaced my statement about Israel with some of my own insecurities, I'd like to say that now that we've established that Israel is a bad place because of its religion, not because of its state, which is weird because Israel is supposed to be a state and not a religion, can we focus the same amount of effort on all other major religious states and actually condemn the papal state, the Roman little state, 12 times in a meeting, and just focus our religious criticism on those that actually deserve it? Israel is a state that deserves criticism. That is its nature. It deserves criticism. We are doing it a favor. And religions thrive when they have opponents to themselves. So can we at the Human Rights Tribunal spend now the same amount of time on criticizing religious groups, just religious groups in complete total? Because we are the secularists. We're supposed to be the people who don't believe in religions even though we have a religion. We are not supposed to be there to be the religious one. We're supposed to be there to be the opponent to the religious one, even though we have our own religion. So, that being said, what I understand of the state of Israel on a personal level is that the Judaic Bible, or their Talmud, the Judaic Bible I will prefer to call it, I will perhaps call it the Judaic Holy Book, but that seems to be wordy. It seems better to say Judaic Bible, clearly says that they are not allowed to return to the state of Israel before it's founded by a Messiah, and they don't recognize Jesus as their Messiah. Therefore, no state of Israel for the religious Jews can exist. This is something you absolutely must understand. Religious Jews are not the population of Israel. Secular Jews are the population of Israel. That is something that you take a very long and sharp drill and get it through your head. Israel is for secular Jews, not religious Jews. Religious Jews refuse to associate with the current state of Israel, and that is because they understand they are a technologically advanced civilization, what the Human Rights Tribunal is attempting to be. It is attempting to be the organization that you do the bad things in and accept that your own group will hate you for it forever, because you will be the enemy of the religion that made you. But that is life. So from my point of view, we've kind of sidestepped the point here. I value the little back and forth criticism that you do with one another. It's very gamey, it's very interesting to watch. But could we now focus on doing the same for the Papal State and Nepal, which is the home of Buddhism right now, and, you know, Mecca perhaps, or Saudi Arabia? We could even most likely go with Kuwait or even Bahrain, one of those really small countries that are very advanced, that can actually take it, that aren't politically conveniently in the large pile of things that go boom when they are bothered. So, for example, because Finland received from the United Nations and the European Union quite a lot of complaints about the laws we have, like, for example, that we have to draft and that it's illegal to refuse to do armed service, and those people are still imprisoned, like in my story, if you watch one of these or have heard of it. And we get a lot of complaints from the United Nations and the same tribunal that Israel gets complaints from, because of our state, because of what we do. And we can perhaps represent the Nordic group in this. We are the young nationalist country, we are the new guy in the Nordic bloc, and this is assuming that the Baltics want to do this for themselves as well. And we can take it, unlike somebody who actually feels the weight of the criticism in a different way. So somebody who is more awake as a culture, perhaps, is the word that we're looking for here. Fox News, hire me. And as you can see, I'm in the fortress of security, which is as high as my kind security goes. I'm in my blanket fort and listening to music in a place where there are a lot of people who I kind of know and are kind of experts at everything and kind of roam around on their own and get their own problems. I'm in my kind's holy safety fort, and you will not see me in the United Nations chamber making a speech like this, but this is a speech for the United Nations Center. Other than that, the United Nations seem to be doing well. It seems to be slowly growing into a world government like it should, but that it is still so ineffective that it will take it some hundreds of years to get there, so it gives the rest of us time to put ourselves in good positions for the moment when they are actually a world government. I'm attempting to quit smoking now. I will accept weed with tobacco in it, but I will not smoke pure tobacco. I have gone through all my reserves and I would now need to go dig for more, and this is something I would prefer not to do, so that's my personal note here. For the plumber comment, maybe he will actually watch this Norseman thing and hear you guys out. Points to you. So anyway, my job application is available at the local unemployment office. You can contact them for a job offering for me or put up a general job offer and they will probably send it to me. Glove is thrown. So United Nations, far as I know of, that's all that I want to say about it. I could think of something else, but that seems to be the end of my list. And Israel seems to be the same. It's the secular state of the Jews, and the religious Jews actually hate it, and you have to understand that you have to really get it through your head. I don't mean, curious, I mean that's the case. So when the secular state of Israel refers to a myth from the Jewish religion to support their policy, you know that they're being evil. It's as simple as that. That's what you really have to get through to your head. The second part that I'd like to mention is that while I don't believe that Israel is wise to pull back to the 1947 border, I am relatively sure that it is wise to take a stance of getting the 1960s border area and those settlement regions. Now, giving the area that lives outside of it to a Palestinian state that is the same with the Palestinian state towards Islam as the Jewish state is towards the Jewish religion. Making those two states and having the settlements be half of the population and the traditional Palestinians be the other half of the population. Then, if it works, very carefully petition to have your capital in their terrain, which is Jerusalem. But that is just my view. I'm not really knowledgeable, so it probably won't be implemented and it probably isn't a good idea, but that's what it seems like to me. It's hard to say what the future brings in a question as large as what Israel will actually do, but I will attempt to answer by saying that it will probably continue to expand itself. That is the probable current trend that it will continue to undertake. It may perhaps seek wars not as a means of finding peace after the war that returns the status before the war, as in many cases between civilized nations. There are a number of cases of wars that actually didn't involve fighting and actually involved more the nature of both sides agreeing to leave a common area or to have a better respect for the other side's military in the area, to actually preferring to have land take in situations where it wins. This seems very secular to me. It seems secular, like somebody's playing a video game and that's what they do because that seems like their policy. So from that point of view, I don't really know. I mean, I don't really have a grasp on the situation well enough to predict what they will do, but that is kind of what the trend feels like. So yeah, that is all on the secular Jews question.